Hi guys, if you could see the setup right now, this is bananas. I'll put a little clip in here. So I've got my 2 lights set up. My phone is literally on a MagSafe stand on top of a box, on top of a upside down trash can. In today's video, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I pack and what are some of my absolute favorite things. If you have an item that you love bringing with you, comment down below what your favorite must-bring item is. If I don't already have it, I would love to check it out. So let's get into it. If you've been following this channel for a bit, you know that I'll typically only travel with a carry-on and a personal item. But what do I actually put in those bags? In today's video, I'm gonna show you some of my favorite items that I absolutely almost always bring with me. So from the top, let's start with our toiletry bag. So that's number 1. This is the bag that I'll use for any of my liquids. If you're traveling within the US, internationally, etc., it can be a little bit more strict with the liquids. So I use this one. It's a clear, simple bag and TSA Clear approved, 1 quart for the 311 rule. And then all my toiletries are inside. Now within this bag, I do have a couple favorites. If I'm carrying anything that's like a thicker consistency, like a lotion like this one, as you can see, it's a bit more of a thicker consistency, so not too much to worry there. But if it's something like makeup remover or hair oil, I'll always ziploc it with a snack size bag like this. And if it's something like shampoo, I'll put one of these little sleeves right on top. Wow, that was really loud. But I'll link all these down below. If I have any other hair products, I always want to try to minimize liquids in general. One, because I'm carry-on only typically, but also it's just way more easier. This one is one of my favorites. I've put my curl cream into these little smaller containers and then I'll just label them exactly as they are. Oops. There we go. So all together, whenever I'm traveling, just to kind of show you guys a little bit of the products that I'll typically carry, I'll travel in different places, whether it's hotels, visiting friends or family, and I personally believe that scent is the strongest sense tied to memory. So sometimes if I'm traveling for a little bit and I just kind of feel a little bit disheveled because I'm like, man, I really miss my apartment and my house, etc., I will always carry the lotion and the body scrub that I'll have at home. So for me, lotion is Bath & Body Works, and then the body scrub is the Dove brand, and this is exactly 100 milliliters, so I'll max these out, and they're pretty flat containers. I'll also always carry my favorite shampoo. It varies. Right now it's this one, and I'll put this sleeve right on top. That way the pressure doesn't impact anything and your bag isn't leaking with all these liquids. I love using this. This is Rosewater and Glycerin Hydrating Facial Mist, one of my favorites. I'll spray this on in flight sometimes or just right before my flight. It's super moisturizing and it smells really nice. This one is a smaller container. This is 2 ounces, so still pretty sizable, and you can always buy the bigger one and refill it. I'll also carry some smaller containers. So I've got Sephora makeup remover, I've got Moroccan Oil, hair treatment, and oil. So if it's oils or something like this, I'll always double bag it in a snack size Ziploc bag like this. This is one of my favorites. It's a 10 Miracle Leave-In Spray. So this one is a leave-in conditioner. I really like using this, especially if I'm traveling to another Hawaiian island, for example, and I don't want my hair to get damaged when I'm out in the sun or in the pool or at the ocean all day. This is one of my favorites. This one is a 2 ounce container. You can buy the bigger one, of course, and refill it to save a bit of money. In terms of moisturizer, my absolute favorite brand is Summer Fridays. This is about a 1 ounce container, Jet Lag Masque. So this one is one of my absolute favorites. I find this very, very moisturizing, especially when I'm on longer flights. I love the Moroccan Oil brand. So this is the curl cream that I'll use, but instead of having the giant container, I'll just put it in a smaller one like this. This is, I think it's a 1 or 2 ounce container, and then I'll just label it for whatever the product is. So in this case, it's curl cream. This is pretty much all I take with me. Oh, and I'll also have some sort of moisturizer. I've been using the Olay Regenerous lately. It's a smaller container. I'll put that in there, and then some other hair products as well. So all of this just kind of zips in together like this, and it also has this little handle, which is really nice. So this is all I'll typically have for toiletries. Now on to all the big stuff, the toiletry bag. If you're traveling in a group, one of the things that I had done in the past is I would have a million different smaller bags to help organize and sort my carry-on. But the problem with having so many smaller bags is that you have to keep track of the bags, and if you're rushing to pack or making sure you don't leave anything, having one toiletry bag for everything, especially if you're traveling in a group where you're sharing a hotel bathroom or just sharing a bathroom in general, it makes things so much easier. This one is one of my favorites, and actually this is my favorite. This is the one that I've been using lately. It has the handles here. You can put your jewelry in here for necklaces, earrings, rings, and so forth, which I really like. And then the inside, like a normal toiletry bag, it has 4 different compartments. So you've got the top compartment, this middle one, and then this one. So I like that this one has a hook on top. So if you're getting ready in a hotel bathroom, you can easily just hook this on the back of the door and see all of your products at once. What I'll typically bring will vary. The bottom part of this I like because it also doubles as my makeup bag, and it just pops off with this, it just pulls off with this Velcro right here. Other stuff that I'll bring with me, just to kind of go over some of my favorites, definitely a small alarm clock. I almost always bring this with me because if I'm on a trip and I'm doing a lot of activities or tours or whatever it is that I'm doing, I always worry that if I have my cell phone as my only alarm system that I may oversleep, or worse, if the phone dies or just any sort of issue, I always want to have a second alarm. So this one is one of my favorites. I think I bought this for $6 or $7 on Amazon, and it even has a light right here on the side, so that way you can check the time without having to wake up anybody near you. I also almost always bring this. This is like a smaller loofah. If I'm traveling somewhere where I know I'm going to be using a lot of sunscreen, or even if you're traveling somewhere like a cold destination, the back right here is like a loofah material. This is good for dead skin, and then this is like the regular shower proof. So if you're using a lot of sunscreen, make sure you get all that off of you as well. I will also carry these. These are the Olay daily facials, and this looks just like this. So it's got the powder face wash built inside, and I like using these mostly because whenever I've traveled to different hotels, typically the towels that are in the hotel will be bleached white. And the problem with that is I have very sensitive skin, so sometimes that will irritate my skin. And I also want to make sure that I get all the sunscreen off, all my makeup off. So one of these is perfect. I don't really use these at home, it's mostly when I travel. And also it's important for me on the day that I'm departing. I like to have just one of these right on top of my towel, so that way when I wake up in the morning for an early morning flight, I don't have to fumble through my bag looking for a face wash or something like that. So super easy, convenient, and I'll pack these typically in either a Ziploc bag or I'll put it in one of these like clear zipper bags like this. Of course, the usuals like Q-tips, makeup wipes, travel size razor. One of my other favorite things to bring is one of these. This is a contact lens case, and what I'll typically do with this is in my personal item bag, I'll put 1 dollop of face cream and 1 dollop of body lotion. So that way, if my skin is feeling dry in flight, I don't have to fumble through my bag. It's just enough for one use. And because they're contact lens cases, they're very sturdy and they don't leak, which I really like. I'll leave a link in the description box below for this one. Overall, this toiletry bag is probably one of my favorite ways to stay organized, especially when I'm traveling with friends or a big group. It keeps everything together and it folds to fit exactly inside my carry-on. The other thing that I'll typically bring is some sort of refillable water bottle. I used to use the regular Stanley cups, but I now use this one. So it's still a Stanley cup, but it's the travel version because it seals like this. I bought this bumper on Amazon as well, and then this is, I think it's rose quartz is the color. And now onto the personal item. My latest favorite is this one by Nomad Lane. And I like that it has a trolley sleeve right here in the back, so it slips right onto my carry-on. It also opens just like a suitcase. If you'd like to see a full review of this bag, I'll leave a link in the description box below. One section is just for tech, so I'll usually put my laptop, my iPad, and any tech stuff such as cords on this side. And then the other side is where I'll typically place everything else. One of my favorite things to bring is this set of headphones. This is by Soundcore. I used to bring only AirPods, but the problem with having AirPods on flights is that they're so small, sometimes they'll fall out of your ears when you're half asleep. So I always like to bring these. These are noise canceling headphones, just like this. And they also have a backup cord as well, just in case the battery dies. And then there's also this, which is the AirFly. If you haven't used an AirFly before, this actually plugs right into the little spot for your, like in the plane where the headphone jack goes. This way you can use it with your Bluetooth headphones. Love this. The battery life is about 8 hours, and it does come with this really cool case. I'll also typically have a carabiner on it just in case I need a bit more space in my carry-on or my personal item. This will clip right onto the handle of the bag. Next, I will always bring a separate set of shoes. So whenever I'm flying, I'll typically wear either tennis shoes or boots. But once I'm on the flight, these are my absolute favorites. This is the brand Reef, and they're just simple slides like this. I like these because I can keep my socks on and take my shoes off the minute I get on the flight. That way it's way more comfortable, especially for the long haul flight. So I'll definitely always bring this with me. I also like the idea of having a comfortable pair of shoes because sometimes the shoes that you have, maybe they're damaged or something happens and you want to make sure you have something comfortable for your flight. Then we have the inside pocket. So let's see what I've got in here. Always bringing lots of snacks. I'll also bring my toothbrush and my floss because I want to stay fresh on the long haul flight. Next, I will have a straw. And the reason I have this is because whenever you get drinks on a flight, it's always in the giant cups and sometimes you'll hit turbulence or it just spills everywhere, anything like that. This just avoids it, and it also has this cover right here so that way the metal piece isn't breaking your tooth. I always carry a battery pack. This one is one of my favorites. It's the one I'll typically bring, especially when I'm out traveling or even sightseeing. This is from Costco. I think I paid 40 bucks for it. It allows you to charge an iPhone 4 times, and it has both cables. So it has this cable as well as this cable. This attaches like this, and there's also a light so you can see how much charge it has left. It also plugs directly into an outlet so that way you can bring this out with you. If I'm out taking photos or even just traveling in general, I always like to pack this with me in my purse. That way I know I don't have to worry about my phone battery dying, not having Google Maps, or not being able to call an Uber or Lyft. So this is one of my favorites. This bag also has a little strap like this for your keychain, which I really like. That way you don't have to fumble around in the bag. On the top of this bag, there's 2 separate sections. So one section I'll keep a lot of my tech gear, and the other section will be another quick access. So let's look at what I've got in both of those sections. This is the case that comes with the bag. So inside, some of the things that I'll have are lens wipes, so that way whenever I'm taking photos on my phone or even my camera, I always want to make sure I have these lens and screen wipes. That way the lens is clean and your photos and videos will always turn out nice. Next, I'll make sure to bring my Apple Watch charger. I will also have these. If you haven't seen these before, I don't know why I didn't purchase these before. I bought these off of Amazon as well, and these are little mini reusable ziplocs. So you can put your cords inside them. So I've got my USB-C to USB cord here. My old charger was USB-C to USB-C, but the problem is in a lot of the flights that I've been on, they don't have the USB-C charger. They only have the USB charger, which is the rectangular blocky one. I like having these reusable Ziploc bags just because they're so small and it makes it super easy to pack. I'll also have 2 other items. I've got my Oura ring charger, and if you don't already have a label maker, I would highly recommend you get one, or at least that way it looks a bit nicer. So it says Oura ring charger like that. And the reason I label this is not because I can't see through the clear bag. Obviously it's very clear, but I only have one Oura charger. So whenever I'm charging my Oura ring and I'm traveling and then I get back home and I put this back on my nightstand, I keep this reusable bag with the label inside of my carry-on bag. That way when I'm packing again, I remember, oh hey, I need to make sure to grab the Oura ring charger, and it seals just like this. This is also one of the things that I want to make sure I always bring with me. This tracks my sleep, this tracks my exercise, my activity levels, my steps. So that Ziplocs like that. I also have the DJI Mic wind muff, which is this guy here. So the mic that I'm using right now is a DJI mic. I absolutely love this mic. It was a gift from a friend of mine back in the day. But if I was filming and it was a bit windier, right now I'm in my apartment, so it's obviously not windy. But if I was, I would have this DJI wind muff as well. So that goes in here. I'll also, if you travel and you carry a lot of jewelry, earrings, or rings, and you don't want to have them about, this is another good idea to put your jewelry in. So if you don't have that larger toiletry bag, but you just want to have something to keep everything together, I'll put my jewelry, my rings in this as well, my earrings in this as well, and this zips like so. Next I have, this is one of my favorites, and depending on where I'm going, I'll often consolidate my toiletry bags. This one came with the Lane bag. I love this. This is everything I need for comfort in flight. So I've got my TheraTears eye drops. I've got that little contact case that I mentioned earlier that has the lotion and the facial moisturizer, just a dollop of each, so a single use. I've got my Summer Fridays lip gloss. I've got my other Summer Fridays lip gloss. I've got toothpaste. I've got a hair tie, and this zips up just like this, and it goes in this little pocket of the bag, so it slips just like this. And I like this specifically because when you have your bag underneath the seat in front of you, the zipper's on top. So so that way you can just reach in and grab whatever you need. Wow, this video is actually a lot longer than I anticipated it being, so I'm gonna leave the rest of the stuff for another video, but those are some of the highlights on my absolute favorite things to bring with me. And a hat. I have been on so many flights, and if there are any flight delays and your hair looks crazy and it's a mess, always, always, always bring a hat, simple hat. This is a simple trucker rip curl hat that I always pack with me. Just so that way whenever you're traveling, if your hair is looking greasy, your flight's delayed, at least you can put it together and look like you're put together. And I think that's everything, guys. Let's take a look. Oh, almost forgot. 2 other things. I have a phone case, which I can't show you my phone because I'm using it to film. It's a MOFT phone case, but it has this tripod, which is MagSafe. And then I also have this, which, pretend this is my phone. It goes like that, and it's got suction cups, so that way you can put it on other surfaces and you can film or take photos if you're creating content. These 2 things are my absolute favorites. And last but not least, I'm so sorry, this video was way longer than I anticipated being, but I'm just packing, and some of the things, like I said, I can wait for another video, but some of the stuff is actually pretty useful. I also have one of these. This I got from Target. It's just a clear, simple $5 case. This is what I'll put for anything that I want to make sure I have in flight in addition to the stuff that I have here. So for example, I'll put like a small hairbrush, I'll put some like a hair tie as well, I'll put Pepto Bismol, just anything that's quick. These are Whish deodorant wipes, so if you want to freshen up in flight, these are just a little bit of everything, but I'll put inside the bag just to kind of separate stuff, but also because it's clear, it makes it so much easier to find. Anyway, I hope this helped you guys in your packing, and on to the next video, guys. On this 1-page planner, you have everything that you need where you can jot down your details for your hotel, rental car, tours and activities, things that you want to do, and a general itinerary. You can also head to yestohawaii.com for even more Hawaii content. Places to eat, where to stay, and things to do. And if you'd like some done-for-you itineraries, check out the links in the description box below for some itineraries I've made just for you guys.